Hey guys, I thought I would wish before we actually jump the gun a little bit, before we get into this week's lesser known or lesser knowns, I should say, because there will be two videos posted today. This will be the first one and the one following that. Kind of did them in reverse order, so it's gonna sound possibly a little bit weird, but I thought I'd take a minute or two and wish you all a happy holidays and a happy New Year. This will also count as New Year's video. And your bosses usually give you a money bonus or a payment bonus. I figure since not only have I had a pretty decent year, but also that things have gone, for the most part, actually pretty damn good for me, minus a few rough edges here and there. I figured I would actually reward you guys. Because you guys have stuck by me. A lot of you guys have been very supportive. You guys have had my back probably the whole entire year. You've been very encouraging. And so I thought not only as a bonus for you guys, but also, a great Christmas present all in its own, I thought I would actually, for the month of December, find three three heroic characters from Marvel, DC, or a non big two like hero or superhero team. And so with that, guys, I'm going to roll the lesser known but awesome heroes video. Hopefully you enjoy the pre-recorded audio and everything. And as I said, happy holidays, happy new year, guys, and hopefully I look forward to entertaining you guys more next year. Greetings, everyone, and I present to you Boobies. And I just lost my fan base. Well, actually, all the female fan base and the soccer moms and Puritans and the people that necessarily don't watch or like my videos or campaign it like Shirley Phelps Roper in the Westboro Baptist Church. But anyway, we're not going to rant on about that, guys. This is your here's a Christmas gift from me to you. No, it is not a whole bunch of nudie pictures or Playboys or a stack of hustlers. No, instead, I'm going to talk about two characters in this video and then one other video. That's right, you're going to get not one, not two, but two separate videos and three separate characters for lesser known but awesome heroes leading in to next year. And so with that, guys, I'm wasting a lot of time. So the first character I'm going to talk about is Chaos Comics. And if I remember correctly, let me actually pull up the page. There we go. And today I will actually be talking about the Eternity/Chaos Comics superheroine or anti-heroine. I consider her more of an anti-hero type character personally. But today, for the first character in this video, I'm going to be talking about Lady Death. Very great name. And she's actually a goddess. She's actually, believe it or not, an immortal being of sorts. And her first appearance was in Evil Ernie #1 in December of 1991. Oh yes, that's right. I forgot to actually mention. And I feel kind of stupid for forgetting this, guys, but Lady Death, the one following this, Ambush Bug, And the video preceding this, and I'm sure a lot of you will like the Marvel character video, but every single one of these three characters, or characters, I should specify, all debuted in December. So, thought that that would be fun. And on a side note, before I actually continue, guys, I gotta admit, December is the hardest month to actually find superheroes in. Although, ironically, I found a whole crap load of supervillains. Apparently, the gift-giving season, apparently Christmas is the debut of a lot of supervillains. Well, not Christmas Day, but you guys get what I'm saying. Anyway, I'm rambling on, so let's get back to the task at hand before I lose focus, and then the trolls start firing up their engines. That's right, I drank way too much caffeine, and so I'm fucking hyped up. Anyway, he debuted in Evil Ernie #1 in December of 1991. And she was written by Brian Paldu. I'll actually pronounce it P-U... Hold on, is that an I or an L? Okay, yeah, P-U-L-I-D-O. And she was drawn by artist Stephen Hughes. And let's see what else. She was on Eternity Comics. Oh, excuse me. And then she reappeared in Evil Ernie: The Resurrection miniseries, which was part of the now defunct Chaos Comics Company in 1993. And then after a 3-year hiatus, Avatar Press announced that they would create a separate company called Boundless to publish the character since the beginning of late 2010. And she's also had an animated movie that was made by ADV Films in 2004. And of course, much like Red Sonja and many others, she's had at least a few artists try to depict her. And yep. Okay, moving on to the fictional history for you guys. Now, the first Lady Death originated as the sexy and violent villain that was perceived as a hallucination by the boy Ernest Fairchild. She promised to love Ernie forever, love he never had in exchange for the love that he never had in exchange for his loyalty. That loyalty was to kill everyone on Earth. In the beginning, she had no real purpose or personal story except to be the eye candy for Evil Ernie's comic book drawn by Craig Caimi in 1998. And she was made just to be seen as the evil, sadistic woman who would always give Ernie the incentive to kill. As the story progressed, she detached herself as the girlfriend of Evil Ernie and began her own story. With the change, her personality changed dramatically from the sexual villain to a full-blown hero. Now here's the classic Lady Death. The setting up for the original Lady Death comic was medieval Sweden, and the woman who would become known as Lady Death was born as a mortal named Hope. Her father was a local nobleman named Matthias, who was forcibly conscribing peasants into military service as feudal levies. And the exact nature of the war that Matthias was persecuting is not specified, though evidence from the recent revision of the character by Avatar Press suggests that it might have been one of the Northern Crusades, also known as the Baltic Crusades. Unknown to his innocent daughter, Matthias had a dark secret, although conjugated, there we go. Man, I had a hard, it's like a tongue twister. It's like I had peanut butter in my mouth. Conjugate, I cannot say this word. Congregated. There we go. Conjugated, congregated. Okay, moving on. By the church for his work against the pagans, he was despised by the common folk as a cruel tyrant. Matthias was outrightly pompous but secretly dabbled in the black magic and demonology. He was actually a descendant of the fallen angels who had led the rebellion against God. By contrast, Hope's mother was a woman so pure and innocent that her bloodline reached heaven. Her mother died when Hope was still in her late teens, and she was left to live with her father. Eventually, Matthias's cruelty triggered a peasant uprising. He narrowly escaped death at the hands of the rebels by summoning a demon, but Hope was captured by the rebels and accused of witchcraft. Faced with the prospect of execution by burning at the stake, Hope uttered an incantation that she had overheard her father use. This incantation summoned a demon who offered her a bargain. He would rescue her from death if she would renounce her humanity and serve the powers of hell. She accepted the bargain and was transported to the infernal realms. Once in hell, she would become entangled in a civil war that was raging between Lucifer and an army of renegade demons led by a powerful sorcerer. She was devastated when she learned that the ambitious sorcerer challenging Lucifer for control of hell was her own father. Gradually corrupted by the nature of her surroundings, Hope would be tainted by evil and allied herself with an exiled craftsman who forged weapons for the infernal armies. While speaking to him, she declared that the innocent woman she had once been was dead, and that she would henceforth only be known as Lady Death. And in her new persona, Hope would lead an uprising against the lords of hell. During the final battle, Lucifer cursed her to never return to Earth while the living walked. She swore an oath that she would circumvent Lucifer's curse by exterminating all life on Earth. She would finally end Lucifer's control over her by casting him through Heaven's Gate, a place where evil cannot go, and in doing so became the new ruler of hell. And many of the beings living in hell believed that the ascension of Lady Death signaled the beginning of the Age of Judgment, the final battle between good and evil for the fate of Earth. And here we go. Since 2005, Avatar Press has published Lady Death titles. Since they only have the rights to Lady Death alone without the rest of the Chaos Comics characters that were so intertwined with her original story, she was given a new origin story with notable differences to the stories told in Chaos Comics. Hope is the daughter of Mary and Maurice. I'll just spell it out. Maurice, M-A-R-I-U-S. And he was a crusader who had been waging countless campaigns against the pagans, always returning with only his most loyal soldiers until the peasant levies were slaughtered. This angered the survivors. Hope, realizing that her father has changed and is no longer the man he once was, follows him into the dungeons with her mother close behind. The townsfolk, meanwhile, batter down the gates and invade the castle. Intent on revenge, she discovers her father summoning dark wraiths and sacrificing the souls of countless pagans in exchange for a kingdom in the labyrinth. The wraiths refer to her father as Stagos, S-A-G-O-S. He grabs hold of Mary, revealing that he has possessed her father's body and that they disappear through the portal, leaving Hope behind. Cheated of their revenge, the villagers decide to burn Hope at the stake as a witch. Not wishing to die, she casts a spell she overheard from her father, and summons the wraiths herself. The wraiths agree to transport her through the portal if she forsakes her humanity and pledges her soul to the labyrinth. Hope passes through the portal. Her skin and hair turn albino in the process, the mark of all those who willingly choose to pass through the portal, and finds herself in the Blacklands. Here she encounters Wargoth, who observes her uncontrolled and instinctive use of magic and agrees to help her destroy Stagos and rescue her mother. He recruits the sorceress. Hold on. Oh, come on, really? I thought I was going to have to sneeze there for a moment, guys. Anyway, pronounce the sorceress's name. It's Satasha. To teach Hope spellcraft. Wargoth, yeah, Wargoth also teaches her how to fight, but every weapon she wields melts in her hand due to her uncontrolled energy. Over the next 2 years, her and her companions would fight through the Blacklands, hunting for Stagos, all the while Stagos' undead army destroys and converts cities of the Blacklands. Eventually, Lady Death and her companions track him down to the temple of Karrion, where they discover he's holding Lady Death's mother in chains. He defeats them easily and brings the temple down around them. She digs herself out and is attacked by nameless wolves, slaying all but 2 of them. These 2 wolves become her companions. In the city of Asua, Lady Death would actually retrieve the sword Deathbringer, which was specially made for her by the sorceress and the Silent One. It is able to withstand her energies without being destroyed and allows her to channel her magic through it. She also bathes in the Fanghorn River, which grants knowledge of ethereal magic to those who survive the experience. She then uses this power to save the sorceress's home city from destruction, but learns that Stagos does not plan to just conquer the Blacklands, but to wipe out all life, and that he has the means to do it. And that's actually about it, guys. And that is Lady Death pretty much in a nutshell. And now we move on to Ambush Bug. Okay, and now we get to probably to DC's version of Deadpool. Yeah, that's right. We're going to be talking about Erwin Schwab, also known as the comedic wannabe hero Ambush Bug. And Schwab actually debuted in DC Comics Presents number 52 in December of 1982. And he was written and drawn by Keith Giffen. Yeah, Keith Giffen, or Griffin. It's actually Giffen because it's Giffen. And he's been affiliated with the Doom Patrol, the Uh-Oh Squad, the Justice League, and the Amber Butin Corps. Okay, that's weird. I guess it's supposed to be a mock version of the Green Lantern Corps. He also can teleport anywhere in the multiverse. The exact limits are not defined, and he has a green suit that provides limited protection against some attacks. Ambush Bug's a pretty unique character. Supposedly, the backstory of how Erwin actually got his suit is that Brum-El is that the alien fashion designer Brum-El, which was a historical allusion to Beau Brummel, as well as a reference to Superman's father Jor-El, that of the planet Schwab, actually sent his clothes from his supposedly doomed planet, hoping that his wardrobe would survive, only to have it intercepted by a giant radioactive space spider, which then crash-landed on Earth with only 2 articles of clothing surviving. The Ambush Bug suit, which was found by Erwin, and Argyle, an Argyle sock with a Doctor Doom-like complex, complete with a metal mask. And this is who then builds a space station made out of a giant dresser drawer, to which he sits and plans his revenge against Ambush Bug, although he never ever actually makes any forward attempt to attack him. This is kind of a running gag. On top of that, it's believed that actually Ambush Bug's mental state is completely out of whack, because he truly cannot understand the reality around him. Even his identity may be a delusion of his part, and his origin's always been constantly disputed. On top of that, he has a very annoying relationship with Superman, always constantly bugging the Man of Steel. On top of that, Ambush Bug has made many attempts to actually show many attempts to actually completely break down Superman's logic. So much so that when Clark Kent went to interview Ambush Bug, Irwin just looked at him and went, "Seriously? People must be really stupid to not figure out that you're Superman." To which Clark tries to rebuke, and then he goes, "Oh, really?" And he threw sulfuric acid on him, burning through his reporter suit and revealing his S costume underneath. To which he turns to the audience, and much in the same respect as Deadpool, lets the audience know of things that are going around. Ambush Bug, much like Booster Gold, prides himself on trying to keep the continuity of DC Comics intact. And he's done many things from being turned into a merman in Atlantis to adopting a child's doll called Cheeks the Patched Wonder. And it's evident that Ambush Bug's mindset is not right because he thinks Cheeks can talk and is real. So much so that while he rescued and evacuated a building, he left Cheeks to defuse a bomb, to which the building exploded and Cheeks was subsequently killed, quote unquote. On top of that, the Joker is scared of Ambush Bug because right when the doctors of Arkham Asylum had just fixed him of his paranoia, Ambush Bug came in and scared the living crap out of him, and plus basically decided to Rochambeau and do whatever else, basically, just completely breaking down all the tremendous progress that the Arkham staff was. And as a matter of fact, Ambush Bug is so annoying and so mentally unstable that the staff at Arkham Asylum actually kicked him out for being too crazy. I didn't realize that was possible, but hey, it's comic book logic. On top of that, and with the stated reasons for him being kicked out of the asylum was simply that he was driving everybody, even the staff, insane. Basically trying to get the governor to approve more electroshock treatment for himself, and he became so depressed one time that he actually hung himself by his ankles from his cell. Yeah. And one of the many notable things about some of the earlier Silver Age Ambush Bug comics is the appearance of the arch nemesis of Orion and the New Gods and New Genesis, Darkseid, with Darkseid constantly always making appearances with various business deals, from owning a laundromat to a taco stand to flipping burgers at like a wannabe version of McDonald's, to basically being a newspaper stand salesman. On top of that, there was even a time on top of that, Ambush Bug actually claimed a victory over Darkseid. However, this was not a physical fight, but rather a game of chess and checkers. So, needless to say, Ambush Bug is a character not meant to be taken seriously. Matter of fact, this guy once actually got punched through a wall by Wonder Woman for basically telling her that that her outfit made her look fat. Although everything that I'm saying isn't actually, some of it is actually true, but the rest of it I'm just pretty much BSing on you guys. But I'm just saying, he's that kind of comedic character that you look at and you can't really take seriously. And I think that's the great part of his character. Plus, the thing about Ambush Bug is that he's always been a constant character. And the funny part is, the dumbest of characters and villains can defeat him. This guy in a Marvel DC crossover was beaten by Howard the Duck. But yet, when it came to characters like Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, any of the top tier and or, super smart characters, Ambush Bug somehow manages to easily not only show how flawed their logic is, but actually beats them. Maybe not in a physical fight, but more in an intellectual and sometimes often silly way. For example, one time, the Legion of Substitute Superheroes actually had him in a containment bubble. And Ambush Bug, not really knowing future tech from from light years ahead, could even tell that the containment bubble was not completely turned on, and easily escaped and knocked out all the substitute superheroes. And when Superman actually, and on top of that, Ambush Bug, when he originally debuted, he wanted to be a supervillain. And he actually killed a district attorney by shoving him off of a podium that was 5 feet from the ground. And to make matters worse, once he actually realized that being a superhero was a lot better, he actually decided to renounce his so-called supervillain ways and try to be a hero, much to the annoyance of heroes and villains alike. On top of that, Ambush Bug would try to run his own detective agency, which failed horribly. And to also cement this, his suit originally had little tiny nanite bugs that whenever he would say "Simon says," he would then be teleported to wherever he was going. However, due to a malfunction during a washing machine accident, not only would at one point his costume be tainted black, but he would also gain the ability to teleport when and wherever he wanted to. And he also would get into frequent fights with the DC editorial staff, which then would lead to many subsequent story arcs where the DC editorial staff would basically tell Ambush Bug that he was to behave himself, or his series would be canceled, and or they would write him out of DC continuity. And this would lead to an epic final battle to which supposedly his existence was written out of the DCU. However, he would pop up in the background, either his antennas or many other subsequent, appearances as a wink and a nod that the character was not completely gone. And eventually he would fight back legally through the DC editorial staff and or the DC universe, fighting mundane villains that nobody really honestly gave a crap about, and would eventually have Ambush Bug Year None to kind of mock the Year One perspectives. So all in all, I realize that I'm kind of all over the place, but there's no real information about Ambush Bug. There never really has been. He's just a character that really has no serious backstory. He's just kind of a goofy comical character that they put in team-up books and stuff. But nevertheless, I like the character. I think he's definitely one of those characters that he's great to get away from the serious and dark grittiness and have a cheap laugh every now and again. Much like, Deadpool and Howard the Duck and many other characters of his time and or quote-unquote comic book genre. But anyway, guys, that's it for Lady Death and Ambush Bug. Stay tuned for the second one, my Marvel superhero team. And as always, guys, stay tuned for the next one, which should be coming up.